Hi folks, it's Andy. Welcome to this week's Kendo Rant. I've got loads of questions for you today. I've got 3 whole pages of them, in fact. So we'll be firing through them today as quick as you can. I'll try my best not to speak at loud speed, but if you need to, use the little controls on YouTube to slow me down so I talk like that, okay? So if you need to do that, I don't mind. Okay, before we jump into them though, don't forget, like, share, subscribe, all that sort of thing, and shop at the best place in the world. That's KendoStar. That's my website. You know it's the best place to be shopping. I don't need to be saying it now, do I? Well, I'm going to anyway. Go and shop at KendoStar.com. It's the best place to buy Kendo stuff. Go there. Go and do it. Okay, you back now? Good. Right. First question. Hello, Andy. I have a question for Kendo Rant. During the lineup, it's my understanding that we line up in order of rank. My question is there's a fellow student who has been doing Kendo longer than I have, but has only been with our dojo for a shorter length of time than me. He's also taken a long break from Kendo. We line up in order of Kendo experience or order of time in the dojo. We are both unranked. So I guess the question is, who should sit in which order? Because one of you is newer to the dojo but has more experience than you, right? But you're both unranked. It doesn't matter, okay? If you're unranked, it really doesn't matter like which order you. Nobody comes in and checks if you're sat in the right place. Yeah. So don't worry about it too much. Just sit on the lower side. Just sit on below him. If that person's been doing more Kendo longer than you, it doesn't really matter if he's been at the dojo. You know, if he's been at a different dojo, then fine. Just let him. You know, if he wants to sit on the other side, higher side than you, then let him. It's all cool, right? You don't get any special awards for sitting higher up. So yeah, don't worry about it too much. All right, it's not like a big status thing. Nobody cares. Next one. Hi Andy, thanks for the video. Since you were talking about Mitori Geiko, I wanted to ask you about it here. Mitori Geiko, by the way, is when you watch and practice, okay? Mitori means to take from watching, okay? So Mitori Geiko means to learn from watching Kendo. I've done Kendo for about 3 years, and I've gone to many tournaments. I've watched many Kendo fights on YouTube, but I often don't understand why some strikes is not an ippon when it should be, when I think it should be, and other strikes get ippon when I can't understand why. I think my inability in recognizing these has something to do with myself in tournaments, as I rarely get an ippon. I often lose my fight. Do you have any pointers or advice on what should someone look at when watching a Kendo fight, or how to recognize whether a strike is ippon? Yeah, okay, so yeah, this is definitely the reason that you're going to tournaments not able to score any ippon and then losing your matches, because obviously you're not quite there yet with grasping the idea of Yuko Datotsu. Okay, Yuko Datotsu is the means a valid strike. Okay, the valid attack or strike. That's what fulfills the criteria to be awarded a point or ippon. I've got a video explaining Yuko Datotsu. All right, go and watch that. Okay, type in YouTube The Kendo Show Yuko Datotsu. Okay, YUKODATOTSU. But yeah, in essence, you're looking for a strike that hits the target with Kikentai no Ichi. That's the sword, body, and spirit all together as one. That means in general it has to hit, and you shout, man, kote dotsuki, at the same time, usually as a stamp on the floor, fumikomi. All right. Then it has to have zanshin. All right. That means you have to keep your attention towards the opponent, not just hit and stop. Okay. It's not about just hitting the boga. Sometimes that's not enough. Okay. So yeah, go and watch the video. I think you'll learn a lot from it. Next one, I have a question for you. Is there anything that you've been dying for someone to ask, but no one has asked you yet? And if so, can you rant about the said thing you want to talk about? No. I'd say that there's pretty much, there's very little that hasn't already been asked, to be fair. So yeah, I think I can't think of anything that like, oh, I really wish someone had asked that. So yeah, maybe a good question would be, where's the best place in the universe to buy Kendo equipment? In which the answer, of course, is KendoStar. Next question. These questions now, these are from the Kendo Show Early Access group. If you're not in the group, there's a link in the description down below. Go and get in the group. it's a great place to post the questions, of course. You get early access to the instructional videos that I put out. I'm almost ready to release the latest Kendo Zero to Jodan, and I've got more to be filmed next week, all right? So we've got more instructional content coming out this year. I promise, all right? I promise we definitely have it, all right? So if you want to see it first before it's posted anywhere else, you need to be in the early access group. It's free to join, so go and join it. The link's in the description. Right, I live in Japan, but for people coming to visit for a short stay and want to practice here, how do they transport their gear and what to bring? Also, Japan is a gifting culture. If someone does come and visit, what type of gift and how much should it cost? So, if you're going to visit Japan for like a short time, I generally manage to fit all my board in like a suitcase, like one of those hard shell suitcase type things. They should fit in there without a problem, actually. And then like you're better with a zip up shinai bag. We've got like a zip up shinai bag that fits 3 shinai in it. That's what I normally use when I'm traveling, because it's tough, it's durable. You don't want to use like a nice like decorated shinai bag and let them kind of put that in the hole. It'll get all dirty and torn. So use it's like the zip up polyester type ones. For that. In terms of gifting, you don't need to go nuts when you want to gift stuff for people. If you're going to visit a dojo, like I tend to like buy like a bulk bag of like sweets or something, or candies if you're not English. Like you can just get them from the supermarket pretty cheap. Something that's like a bag full of little bags of stuff. They often sell them around Halloween, stuff like that as well. You know what I mean? Like that sort of thing, or little snacks, or even like a box of chocolates or something. Just something that they can share amongst them. You don't have to go nuts and start spending loads. Just a little bit of something is totally fine. Next one, I noticed a kamon on people's door who aren't Japanese and do not have Japanese relations. Do people just choose a kamon when they think it looks appealing, or how is it done? Okay, so here I am. So kamon is it's a family crest. It literally means family crest, and people often have them on the door here. Okay, like it's just in the like there, but like this. Yeah, people often have them here, but sometimes you see them in different places. I've seen them in the middle, or whatever. I've seen them embroidered into the mune as well. These are all things that are possible. So generally, like I say, they're a family crest. So generally, they're worn by sort of Japanese people that have one associated to their family. Now, this is one on mine. This is the family crest from my wife's family, and her dad let me wear it on my door, so I've got it there. Let me just pop that down. But let me just grab the thing. Basically, there's no hard and fast rules on it. Actually, you know, at the end of the day, people that aren't in that situation where you don't necessarily have a Japanese relatives, or you're not Japanese, people sometimes use like the dojo logo, or sometimes people just pick one that they think looks cool. Nobody like if you wear that in Japan, it's got like a kamon on that's like one you just picked randomly. That's, nobody's like, ooh, what are you doing? Like nobody does that. Nobody really cares, to be honest. So yeah, some people, they just do it because it looks cool, or they like the look of it. Some people, it means something. Sometimes it's like somebody's like Japanese sensei gave them it or something like that. That happens too as well. So yeah, that's basically it. Right, next one. I was told by a senior member of my dojo that during Sonkyo my back should be straight. When I do this, I cannot keep balance and start wobbling or fall over. I would practicing correct it, or can you see something that I'm doing wrong that I'm unaware of? Okay, so yeah, you should keep your back straight when you do Sonkyo, and you should drop your weight directly down from your hips. Okay, I can't show you on here, of course, but you lift your heels off the floor, bend your knees, and drop your weight directly down. The problem is people can't keep balance because they kind of wobble backwards and forwards as they're going sort of down like this way. Go and watch my video. It's one of the very first videos I put up on the Kendo show, which was about etiquette Deiho. And I think Kamae and Sonkyo, I think, was the second one I did. Go and watch that, because I talk about it in depth about how to do Sonkyo properly. Next one. Some shinai, even expensive ones, tend to tilt sometimes. I've already sanded them to break the edges, but I get no satisfactory result. In the end, the bamboo gets broken. Any suggestions? So we clarified this a little bit, and what you mean is like the slats sort of stick together or kind of lock together, and it is something that sometimes happens. I don't think sanding it's going to help that much. You might find that it's part of how you're doing the tenuchi, actually. It's possible that that's to do with it. It isn't in itself something that should cause breakages in the bamboo, and it shouldn't happen repeatedly, all right? It certainly shouldn't happen repeatedly. So it might be that, you know, when you're hitting, there's not enough sort of snap in your tenuchi, snap like that with your wrist. It might just kind of doof, doof, like that, which is kind of locking them together. So I'd probably look at that, to be honest. Next one, how wide or narrow should your stance be? Does it vary for Kihon, Jigeko, and Shiai? It depends on the person, but generally it's about shoulder width is the width of your feet. Yeah, about shoulder width. It does not vary from Kihon, Jigeko, and Shiai. They should all be the same. What you do in Kihon should carry through to your Jigeko, and what you do in your Jigeko and Kihon is basic practice, by the way, should carry on to your Shiai, your competition matches. Okay. Next one, how to be a good motodachi for Kakarigeko for beginners and for advanced practitioners. So for beginners, it's quite hard for them to pick up the idea of Kakarigeko. So it's really good, I think, for beginners, new beginners, people are brand new at doing it, actually to start practicing Kakarigeko as a pattern rather than just not random, but attacks decided by the motodachi. So try and set a pattern if you can, and make it very clear openings for them to strike. Okay, for more advanced practitioners, you can be more strict with which strikes you allow them to hit you with. Sometimes you can defend them. Now, here's the thing, though, that you have to remember as your motodachi. Okay, if you're doing the sort of Kakarigeko where you're showing the opportunities to strike, which some senseis would say isn't strictly speaking Kakarigeko, it's actually uchikomi, but let's just pretend we're talking about only Kakarigeko for now. If you're doing a kind of Kakarigeko is that attacking practice, okay, where you just do repeated attacks. The motodachi must keep their feet moving, must act in kamae as well. All right, if you just relax your feet and just walk around, it's not good motodachi practice for the person attacking. So you must keep your energy, your focus. You must be energized as the receiver for Kakarigeko as well. You can't just be using it as a chance to rest. It's you're supposed to be encouraging is the wrong word, but drawing their ability from them. Okay, so making sure that they're in the good distance to strike immediately, or the distance you want them to strike from, or like I say, making sure your feet are working and you're in kamae, not just relaxed. Okay, you have to concentrate. Okay, next one. I'm a 5th Dan Kendoka and I run my own dojo with several students. Whilst I have much to learn, my students call me Sensei in the dojo. However, they tend to call me Sensei even outside the dojo. I've been insistent that they call me by my name outside the dojo rather. However, they continue to call me Sensei still. Is there any formal etiquette about this? Some of my students are older than I am, and I feel rather embarrassed when they keep calling me Sensei in public. All right, so actually the traditional way is for them to call you Sensei all the time. There's nothing weird or wrong about this. You shouldn't feel embarrassed about it. It's part and parcel of what comes with becoming a higher grade in Kendo. It's part of what comes with being a Kendo teacher. I think it's good that your students do this, and I wouldn't discourage them from doing so. If you had a Japanese sensei visit you, it would be appropriate for them to call that sensei all the time, even outside of the dojo. So I think it's a good habit for them to have. It's not, it doesn't mean that they're sort of putting you on a pedestal necessarily. They're just acting with the correct etiquette that is expected of Kendoka. And Kendo doesn't finish actually when you leave the dojo. Okay, Kendo isn't something that you just that just happens for an hour or 2 hours whilst you're inside a specific room. Yeah, that isn't what Kendo's supposed to be. It's supposed to affect your entire life. And I think this is a good example of it. So my advice to you is to try and not feel embarrassed by it, accept it, because you have taken the role of a teacher, and therefore you have to accept the responsibilities that come with it. It's not something to be proud about, to be called sensei. It's something that you should be... it's something that should come with the weight of responsibility. Next one. Quick hypothetical question. Dropping your shinai is hansoku. Grabbing your opponent is also hansoku. So what would happen if one drops their shinai and proceeds to grab the opponent? Instant ippon for the other guy. I may not have done so in the past. All right, so I don't know what this whole thing is about, like when people drop the shinai, they sort of dive on each other. Like, I don't know why people do that. Fair enough, whatever floats your boat. But the first hansoku overrides everything else unless you do something even worse. So if yes, it's hansoku to drop your shinai, and it's also hansoku to put your hand on your opponent. But if you do both of those things, you only get one hansoku. It's not ippon for the other guy. You get the first hansoku, all right? Unless you do something worse, like if you like drop your shinai and then like, I don't know, cuss the guy out or something like that. Something that, could be like a bigger penalty than hansoku. Okay. Next one. What's your opinion on customized dodai? I've seen some with like Hanya masks. Hanya is like the demon masks that they use in No plays and stuff. And other decorations on them. Are they more for display? Or is it okay to wear them? It's perfectly okay to wear them. Some of them can be a little bit more fragile, especially some of the ones that are like really hand painted. I mean, you're talking mega bucks in terms of what you'd have to pay for them. But like really decorative ones, like that are properly lacquered, it's perfectly fine to wear them if you don't mind them obviously getting hit with a shinai. And there's nothing wrong with wearing them. It doesn't make you flashy. It doesn't make you a show off. It doesn't say anything about your ability. So if somebody judges somebody else for wearing a fancy door, the person doing the judging is wrong. By the way, I really want to stress that because it's one of the big things that really kind of chaps my apple in the Kendo world. So next one. Right. As a university Kendo club, we've always had a moderate to high turnover in membership. Not to mention we're on a tiny island known as Tasmania in Australia. Please come down and train with us. I'd love to. So we don't really have a lot of members like those in the mainland. How have you tried to introduce Kendo to new people and retain them? It's really tough, all right? It's really tough to retain people in Kendo no matter what. The best thing I've found, to be honest, is try and have a nice, friendly atmosphere as much as possible, not just in the actual dojo, but outside as well. If there's any opportunity for like social events and stuff like that, they're really good as well. But also, it's good to be upfront as well when you're recruiting about what Kendo is, so people get into Kendo knowing what to expect. Yeah, they know they're not going to be the next Luke Skywalker. They're going to come in and they're going to learn what Kendo is. I've got a video called 5 Things to Know about Kendo before you start. So that's a good thing you can use like on your Facebook page, websites and stuff like that to kind of help with that process too. Okay, next one. Can you hit men, then kote moving forward? Not kote then men, but men then kote. I was trying this and it was weird. It may have been my partner's fault too because he was a junior and didn't know how to receive correctly. Anyway, when I tell people, they give me this look like I farted in an elevator or something. Okay, so no. In terms of like a nidan waza, it's like not a practical waza at all. Now that isn't to say that after hitting men, there's not a chance for kote like this, but that's more like atoichi, which is like the like secondary strike, rather than an actual nidan waza men kote. Like there's the idea of like feint towards men and then kote, but like a full-on men strike, full-on kote strike, like you do like other nidan waza, like kote men or kote do or ski men, that sort of thing. Like men kote, I'd just leave that one alone, eh? Next, okay, I have a question about Kendogi. It seems to me that most of the gi I see today have a back seam. It also seems to me that gi from years ago had no back seam. For instance, I have a double layer gi that has a one-piece back. Understanding that I could not be remembering the past correctly, being a long-time worker of fabric, I would think that the main reason for this is that it could save quite a bit of fabric and in turn keep prices down without affecting the function in one way or another. One other possible reason I could say is that the back seam of the gi could then be contoured / shaped somewhat. So what is your thoughts? Okay, let me grab a Kendogi. Oof, back again, right. Okay, so this is our Kioi Kendogi. This is mine. And the back seam, okay, is, I'm not sure if we can see on the video, I'll try and hold it up to the light. See, there's a seam there. It runs right down the spine, like that. Okay, you can sort of see where the cross is where my dohimo has sort of faded the fabric a bit. Now, the thing about this is some Kendogis have it, some don't, all right? And it's generally considered in the Kendogu or the Kendo equipment world that having a back seam is better than not having one. And the main reason is they say that having the back seam keeps it a little bit more comfortable when it's tucked into the hakama and makes it less likely to kind of go all kind of scrunched up at the bottom where the koshita is. Whether it's true or not, I don't necessarily know, but for the most part, we tend to put a back seam in when we can because people do tend to say that they prefer it for that reason. And that's it. Okay, next one. Could you please clarify the phrase used to indicate if you must to sensei that you are asking to practice Jodan, the intention of the phrase and meaning, and when you think it's good time to do it versus when best not to. I have the opportunity to practice with a Hanshi this weekend that I know used to do Jodan when he was younger. So I think there's an opportunity there to learn a lot, but I also don't want to come across as rude or presumptuous. I also realize that there's plenty to gain even if I don't get the chance to take Jodan with him anyway. Okay, so if you want to do Jodan with a senior or a sensei, if they speak English, then the best thing to just do is you go to Sonkyo, and then as you stand up, don't go straight to Kamae, make it obvious that you're not attacking, walk forward and say to the sensei, may I practice Jodan? Okay, may I practice Jodan? But yeah, if they don't speak English, then it could be a bit harder. I mean, you could instead of trying to say, you could kind of signal, kind of go, Jodan, is it okay if I do Jodan, sort of thing. I mean, you could just say if you can speak Japanese, of course, you just say Jodan o shite ii desu ka or something like that. But you know. They probably won't be expecting you to speak Japanese either. So if you just say it and you pronounce it all wrong, they probably won't get it because they won't expect you to have said something to them in Japanese. Yeah, you could do that. Just kind of be like, oh, Jodan, can I do Jodan sort of thing? And they'll probably get the gist of it. Having said that, if you're going to practice with a Hanshi, someone you don't often get to practice with, and you don't always do Jodan, if Jodan's not your usual thing, my advice would be just to practice with them in Chudan. I think you probably benefit more from it. I think you gain more from it than trying to do Jodan with them. But that's just my opinion. Okay, next one. And this is the last one. Okay, finally, we're here. There was loads today. Right. Thank you for being Shimpan at the recent UK University Taikai. No problem. I noticed during quite a few matches, most notably in one of the semi-final matches, that some Kendoka tend to dodge a lot, either moving their head to the side or even bending backwards. What are your thoughts on this? I think it's perfectly natural, especially when you're sort of a lower skill level, you don't know many Ojuwaza, or you don't really have a good kind of grasp of how to read your opponent's intentions and certainly not apply semo or control them at all. But when you're not really able to do much Ojuwaza and you're not able to properly understand what's likely to happen from your opponent, it's totally natural and normal to dodge and try and move out of the way. It's not a good strategy though, all right? So I'm not encouraging people to do it, because if somebody's quite good, it's very easy to beat somebody that dodges their head to the side or backwards this way. It's not like, oh, they dodged, they're not doing Kendo or something like that. I mean, of course, it's normal. The person's trying to hit them in the head with the shinai. So, and then they're not skilled enough to do anything else. So it's better than standing there and receiving the ippon, isn't it? So, you shouldn't practice dodging, but it's, it's a natural part of the progression of Kendo, frankly. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching today. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. I know it was a long one. Click all the buttons. You know what to click. And especially go on KendoStar and shop and buy loads of stuff, because that pays for more episodes of the Kendo Show. Not just that, though. It's amazing, amazing equipment. We all know that. Just go and check the reviews if you don't believe me. I've got more instructional videos coming very soon, I promise. I really do. So make sure you're in the early access group as well, so you see them before anyone else. Thanks a lot for watching today. I'll see you all next week. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.